Hey, Ravens flock. Some unexpected news just dropped on Baltimore, and it might shake up everything you thought you knew about our favorite team in 2025. We all know the Ravens have a powerhouse roster and are favorites to win the AFC North again. But what if there's a huge problem flying under the radar? What if that gap ends up being the difference between hoisting the Super Bowl trophy or going home early? So, what's the deal? It's simple. Baltimore is missing that explosive pass rusher, the kind of player who make opposing quarterbacks sweat every single play. While the other teams in the division boast monsters like Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt, the Ravens haven't found their own defensive terror yet, and that could come at a big cost. But hold on, there's hope. A rookie bursting with talent and pressure to save the day. Stick around until the end, because we're breaking down the situation, exploring what it means for the season ahead, and finding out if the Ravens can overcome this threat or if they might slip away from another shot at the top. You won't want to miss a single detail of this story that's heating up fast. Let's be real. It's hard to look at the Ravens today and not get hyped. They've got such a strong team. It almost feels unfair to competition. The defense is still fierce, the offense packed with talent, and for many, they're already the favorites to win the AFC North again. This is the kind of team that makes fans dream big. Think February confetti and the Lombardi Trophy. But if we take a closer look, not everything in Baltimore is perfect. There are some spots on the roster that flicker like a warning light, like that little car beep telling you you're running low on gas. A prime example? The guards. Folale had the best year of his career in 2024, but he still stumbled here and there, and Voorhees is pretty much a mystery heading into 2025. Not a disaster. But those are the kinds of details that could come back to haunt the team. And the issue goes beyond the offensive line. What worries the most is a specific position that could turn into a major hole on this team. And that's in a division where rivals know exactly how to exploit any weakness. It's like the Ravens have this giant fortress, but left a gate wide open, inviting trouble. If an opponent sneaks in through that spot, it could ruin the whole party. Worst of all, that spot isn't just any position. It's exactly where the other AFC North teams have real monsters. And that brings us straight to the big worry keeping Ravens fans up at night: Baltimore's lack of an elite pass rusher. Now, think about this. While the Ravens are still trying to find a guy who can really scare opposing quarterbacks, the AFC North rivals are already stocked up. The Cleveland Browns have Myles Garrett, a guy who basically lives in the backfield. The Pittsburgh Steelers have T.J. Watt, who seems to appear out of nowhere to wreck plays. The Cincinnati Bengals boast Trey Hendrickson, a constant nightmare for tackles. So, while Baltimore scrambles with good but not terrifying names, their rivals are predators ready to pounce. ESPN laid it all out painfully in a recent ranking. They asked executives, coaches, and scouts who the top 10 edge rushers in the NFL are. Garrett was number 1, Watt close behind at 2, and Hendrickson made the top 6, with some put him as high as 3rd. And the Ravens? Not a single player even made an honorable mention. That a brutal wake-up call, showing just how far Baltimore is from having that kind of game-changing terror that keeps quarterbacks up at night. And this isn't just about bragging rights or preseason hype lists. Having an elite pass rusher changes the whole game. It forces opponents to scheme special blocks, speeds up quarterback decisions, and causes mistakes. It's the kind of difference maker that wins big games. Right now, Baltimore's hoping someone suddenly levels up because nobody on their roster wears that playmaker assassin crown today. And this gap stands out even more when you look at recent Super Bowl history, because one thing every champion has in common is a monster on the defensive line. Just look at the last few Super Bowls. The Los Angeles Rams won the trophy with Aaron Donald wrecking the pocket on every snap. The Kansas City Chiefs took 2 titles in a row with Chris Jones dominating inside, constantly in the quarterback's face. And who can forget the Buccaneers' defense practically dismantling Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 55? It was basically a massacre. What this makes clear is that in the playoffs, especially the Super Bowl, you need that guy who can turn everything upside down. The player who turns a 3rd and 5 into a 4th and 15 with a huge sack. The one who forces a fumble. The one who can change the whole storyline with a single play. Without that, it's way harder to beat teams that are just as complete and have playmakers ready to shine when it counts. The Ravens, meanwhile, might have a roster full of talent, but don't have that defensive monster. No one making the opposing offense lose sleep all week. And that weighs heavy, especially if the goal is to raise the Lombardi Trophy. Because let's be honest, in February, what separates champions from nearly champions are those special players who can decide everything in a single moment. And here's the kicker. Even without that proven star, Baltimore might be putting all their chips on a rookie who hasn't even played an NFL snap yet. Which brings us right to the next point. Rookie Mike Green.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Ravens fans are already buzzing with excitement to see Mike Green on the field. The kid came out of Marshall, landed right in Baltimore's lap in the second round, and has some serious talent when it comes to getting to the quarterback. He's exactly the kind of explosive, fast pass rusher with that killer instinct you can't teach. No wonder a lot of people called one of the most NFL-ready prospects in the last draft, especially among edge rushers. But here's the catch. He's still a rookie. No matter how talented he is, putting that kind of pressure on a rookie's shoulders is a tall order, especially when he's expected to fill a hole that's been worrying the team for years. It's not just about making a few flashy sacks during the regular season. Baltimore needs him to become a nightmare for opposing tackles week after week and keep that level of play when the games really start to matter. Of course, his potential gets fans dreaming big, but it's also a huge risk. If Mike Green needs time to adjust, which is totally normal for rookies, who's going to step up? It'll fall on Owa and Van Noy to hold down the fort, and while they're solid, they aren't exactly game changers. It's like hoping a tiny spark suddenly turns into a raging wildfire, and it's that reliance on the unlikely that leaves one big question hanging. Will the Ravens finally find consistency in their pass rush that they sorely missed last year? Because without it, the Super Bowl dream could slip away once again. At the end of the day, everything the Ravens are building for 2025 comes down to this. Keep ruling the AFC North and finally bring that trophy home. The roster is nearly set, the offense is loaded with talent, and the defense is solid in many areas. But if there's no one putting serious pressure on the opposing quarterback and forcing mistakes, everything gets a lot harder. The NFL doesn't forgive defenses that can't get to backfield. Trust me, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and the rest will exploit that without mercy. It's no good to have just flashes here and there, like we saw some last season. The Ravens need consistency. Sack after sack. Pressure the entire game. Third downs turning into nightmares for the opponent. That's what turns good defenses into championship defenses. That's what separates the teams making noise in September from the ones lifting the trophy in February. Sure, the team has other strengths that can make up for certain situations. But if they really want to take that final step and beat the toughest playoff teams, they'll have to find that spark, whether it's Mike Green, Owa, or some other unlikely hero who steps up. Without it, it'll be tough to repeat what recent champions have proven. They all had a guy who could change the game with one big play. After everything we've seen, it's clear the Ravens face a huge challenge in 2025. The lack of an elite pass rusher could be the deciding factor this season, and it's on Mike Green and the other outside linebackers to bring the fire the team needs. Without consistency in this area, even the best roster can struggle to reach the title. This might seem like a technical detail, but it's exactly what separates a good team from a champion. The Ravens have the talent and potential, but they'll need grit and unity to overcome this hurdle and keep dominating the AFC North. This season will be a real test of fire. Now I want to hear from you. How do you think the Ravens will handle this lack of an elite pass rusher? Who do you see stepping up to help the team overcome this challenge? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get the conversation going.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go Flock.